Good evening, everyone. It's 28th of April, and as always, we are at the cutting edge of everything Manchester United. We're going to be reacting to yesterday's game, the day after. But I'm joined tonight by two superstars. First of which is Mr. B.
Howdy. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm very well, and we've also got Dora. What's going on, Dora?
I'm doing great. I'm a robot. No, I'm doing good. My internet connection these days is awful. I don't know how it is with your providers in UK, but apparently our providers, which is I'm going to say it because this is a bad rep for you, T-Mobile Telecom. So apparently, after some time, they slow your internet connection because apparently, even though you pay for internet a massive amounts of money, 200 euros a month or whatever, apparently it slows down after you I think go through 300 gigabytes of internet, and I'm like, I spent 300 gigabytes in 2 days, so I'm not sure.
Doing?
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes, for example, I updated Baldur's Gate 3. A new update came out, so I updated that. So if I want to update another game or another app or whatever, I cannot do it because these thieves, they just want money. They just want money, and they don't want to provide a quality service. So yeah, I'm pissed. So if you see me going all static, going all go Slavic Croatian robot, blame Telecom. Blame him. So sorry, guys, about that. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good, guys. Thank you for asking.
And how are you, BT? How are you?
How are you? Yeah.
I'm all right. I'm a bit sore. I played a lot of football yesterday.
Double header, yeah?
Yeah.
2 hours, 3 hours?
I played 2.5 hours. And I've got a dead leg, and I hurt a lot, but it was good. I enjoyed
Did you
myself.
Win?
Yeah, won both games.
That's the most important thing. Then it doesn't matter. You're doing better than United winning 2 in a row.
Yeah, if I'd lost both games, I'd been absolutely furious.
And that was my point. If you play him, you have to take the 6 points, man.
How did you get on?
We didn't play. We haven't got a game for another 4 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're dead. It doesn't make no difference what we need. They're bad after a 2-week break. They've a 4-week break. I don't expect anything, to be fair. So my season's finished as far as I'm concerned.
Get that lasagna sorted out and see what happens.
Right, try.
All right, should we see who we got in the house this evening?
Yes.
All right, we've got Detective Bilal. Oh no, we're having this argument about the red card. Okay, so on the red card, it was 100% a red. I don't care if he slipped. And now this dickhead, Andrew, I put out a very funny joke on Twitter, Mr. B, at the weekend, which was that card was so red. It was responsible for the Cuban Missile Crisis, or I led the Soviet Union, or something like that. Just a throwaway joke. And then had Andrew go absolutely spare at me, saying it couldn't be a red. I put the rules of the game up, and Andrew went, "Stop talking bollocks." And then I linked him to these were the rules of the game, and then he went, "The rules are bullshit. Too many rules. They don't count." But yeah, Andrew didn't think it was a red. Anyway, before we ask what everyone thinks about the red, we got Steph. How you doing, Steph? Got Richard Hawkins. How are you, sir? And who's this here? It's Yabba Forbes. I hope you're feeling better. Okay. What Steph liked about the Bournemouth game was we didn't lose, -9 scored, and no apparent injuries despite reckless tackles flying about. Only 4 games left. Dorgu was also unlucky, but at least he made contact halfway. Oh, is that the challenge on Dorgu? The
Did he?
card for that, wasn't there?
Did he foul anybody? Did Dorgu foul anybody?
No, I think Dorgu got fouled,
Oh,
but it was a bit. I mean, it was 100% like 2 yellow cards, but the Dorgu one was a bit less of a red for me. I'm not sure this is actually. It actually is season mod. Right, is that right? Let's end this now. Was it a red card? Shout out to Kieran.
yes, it was a red.
Yeah, you think it was a red card?
Yeah, he was out. Could whether he slipped or not, I said the analogy you gave, I'll say for you to say it. But yeah, I think it's okay. So bath time's analogy was murder and manslaughter are different. What's it? Different charges, but it's the same outcome, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it was a foul. It was a red card. He should have gone. I'm glad that they revarred it, and he got sent off. At the time, I thought it was a red card. When he gave a yellow, I thought, okay, maybe I did miss something. Yeah, he did slip slightly, but I thought he hit him. I thought he got him in his knee as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I know he didn't go to hit the boy. I know that he slipped. I know it's unlucky, but it's still it's still wildly out of control, and you can't do that sort of thing. It's like if Anana goes for a punch and he misses the ball, as he will, and then he just punches someone in the face. It doesn't mean it, but you
like he did against Wolves. Well, he didn't get he didn't get sent off, so you know.
Dora, what are you thinking about?
Well, I watched both situations. I think both are red cards, in all honesty. Like, people need to understand, like, remember that, I'm not sure if I remember it correctly, but remember that tackle that Son made against Andre Gomes, against that Everton player when he broke his leg? He slipped as well, and it was a straight red card, right? He broke his leg. If this was another day, Tyler Adams, for example, would break Garnacho's leg. To me, that was dangerous play. It should have been red. I don't know what was that ref smoking. Honestly, that whole ref talk is just honestly, I am sick and tired of talking about it because I hate to talk about it. But since you asked me, I will tell you, it was a red. If it happened or other way around, I would still say it was a red because Dorgu did it. Casemiro slipped earlier, I think last season as well. It was a red. So I think the problem with refs in general is that they don't have, how do you say it? They don't have the same principles when they are reffing, right? In the other game, this start on Adams, it would be a red in the other game. So I don't know what was this guy thinking. Mazarui's, or rather Evanilson's tackle on Mazarui's one is, to me, it's a straight red as well. So I'm not sure why people are arguing even about it. It's
I
pointless.
think a lot of it, Dora, is that on the commentary over here in the UK, we had Alan Smith, the ex-Arsenal player, and he was going like he went off on one about how that is never a red card, that they've got to understand that the player slipped and there was no intent, and it shows again that we always say for me or something like that, but like we don't. A lot of time we don't really know the rules of football. My personal metric for red cards is it dangerous, and would I start a fight if I saw that happen to one of my teammates? And I think I definitely would for Evan Nielsen. I'm not so sure about the one on Mazraoui. I think you have to, I don't want the physicality taken out of football. Like, you know, you should be allowed to touch people and hit them and things. And I think that one, I think I'm all right with going with the ref's call on that. Like, if he didn't judge it as, if he saw it and he thought that that's just below the threshold, I've got no issue with that. But the Evan Nielsen one was, I mean, he looked like one of them. Is it like Drunken Master or something? Like a kung fu film where someone gets hammered?
Yeah, with Jackie Chan.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that was like
Yeah,
Street Fighter, Blanca, or like whoever the Caponera one is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Amonde is asking, do we fancy any Bournemouth players?
I don't fancy anyone. I watch football for football.
Did you like the look of any of the Bournemouth men, Mr. B?
Kirkes, I would take in a heartbeat, but we've got a left-sided player now. Semenyo, who's the guy who scored against us? That's Semenyo, right?
Semedo, yeah.
Yeah, Semedo. Yeah, I would take him. And that'll probably be it.
Semedo has taken 40 shots and scored 1 goal, and it was against us.
Oh, yeah, you serious?
Oh, yeah, record breakers.
Maybe he has only looked good against us. Then fantastic, isn't it?
I was expecting quite a lot from him, but I didn't think. I know he scored the goal, but I didn't think he really showed that he was a sort of.
Did any of them show? I mean, we're talking about.
Yeah, I think Dejan Husin and
he's gone.
Kirkes.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's going to Real. Yeah,
he'll go. He's
going to Real.
Well, apparently they were looking at. Well, he's played 2 games for Spain now, innit? And they all went mad.
And he said his dream is to play for Real Madrid. He's a young Spanish centre back who is in form. Trust me, they are going to sniff. They are sniffing around him for months. They have been sniffing around him for months.
I didn't think he was at that level, but then again, like Rudiger went mental, didn't he? Like on
he's done. Night. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, like they are getting Xabi Alonso, they are going to include a different system. They're probably going with 3 at the back, so you can see someone like David Alaba going. Who knows if Xabi Alonso is going to fancy someone like Asensio or whoever is. Oh yeah, and of course, and this guy, I think that he is young, Hojlund, and he's young and seems talented. I would say is a Spanish player, very young. So yeah, and he expressed his desire to go to Real Madrid. Of course, Florentino Perez is going to say, "Get him in."
Yeah, Kluivert, like he's a decent player, Kluivert, but wasn't that. Like, I mean, you can tell his quality when he gets the ball, but I didn't think he really did a lot in the game.
It was a bit of a dead game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit of it was, pull it, push, pull, and, in the end, we were stuck in the middle. It was a draw.
Yeah, just about. Can we, I just want to know what the chat's thought was about the first goal.
Well, we can talk about the first goal. They're still all arguing about free kicks and things. I found it quite funny when Andrew asked if we've ever played football. I'd love to know when you last played football, Andrew, because quite a lot of us played at the weekend. I think so for the first goal. Which was Semedo. Like there were sort of a couple of things that led to it, and me and Mr. B were talking beforehand. And the most interesting part of it is Shaw's ball out to Dorgu. Like Dorgu got jumped, the ball kind of came out, and then you can make arguments that Yoro and Casemiro maybe there's something they can do with their body shape, like in order to block it. Anana, I'm not sure if that should beat you from like that. It's
why are we discussing whether Anana can make a save or not? We know he can't. It's just whether he falls in the right direction and his arms stretched out enough. So
it was a near post as well, which is a tragedy.
I mean, he hit it hard. He hit it hard and early, but I don't blame Anana for it. But I wouldn't have expected him to save it anyway. Maybe there was some goalies in the Premier League who would have saved it, but he's not one of them. So I don't blame him.
I think you've got to take a step. I don't think it was his fault. Like you do. I think, to be fair, Tim, I don't know a lot about goalkeeping, but if there's two players like blocking like in front of the ball, you probably have to move to be able to see it. Like, so I'd love to talk to a goalkeeper about some of these things.
You talk to Yabba.
Yeah, well, Mr. B, you said that the majority of the blame is going on Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I would give it to Luke. I would say it was a lot of it was Luke Shaw. Just the pass that he gave him, I just don't think he gave him.
It was a bit behind him, right?
Yeah, there was nothing he could have done with the pass, you know. And if you as a player, I mean, you know, Bournemouth are one of the best pressing teams in the league. You know, I'm not saying that was the reason, but the pass wasn't great from Luke Shaw. And even if Dorgu had got it, what was Dorgu's pass? Where was he going to go with the pass? You know, Luke Shaw, I think, just passed it out for the sake of passing it out, not thinking about what can Dorgu do with the pass. That was my thing.
Yeah, I saw something quite interesting the other day about Dennis Irwin playing as a left back that was right-footed, and how he kind of used what you'd think would be a weakness to become a strength. And it was about his positioning of being much more inside rather than like on the line, so that like he could meet the ball as opposed to it coming to his back foot and open up space to pass in the centre. And if they covered it, he'd just bang it over the top to Giggsy. And I was looking at Dorgu, and you have to be really careful in the Premier League because fullbacks are where a lot of the pressing traps, basically, that's where they want them. And when I was watching Shaw, I thought he's obviously got more quality than 90% of that team in terms of how he strikes a ball, how he moves with it, and so on. But you could definitely see that he's been out of football for a long time with the weight of his of what I think are probably easy passes. And I think Shaw did very well when we went down to 10 men. But I do think that like he played Dorgu into a bit of trouble, but Dorgu's got to do something with that. Like, you just got to boot it and then go and shout at Shaw. Like,
yeah, but he didn't
have time.
He didn't have the ball half time. Look, if you look at the pass again, he didn't have time to do anything with the ball.
He doesn't go meet the ball though. He waits for it to come, and he knows the players are there.
It must, you know, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just being. I've seen it completely different, man. I've just seen it completely different. It was a shit pass. It was behind him. The the player was already on him before Dorgu got the ball. He was on his ass.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, I'm not like, as I say, I do agree with you that it wasn't the greatest pass from Shaw, but I think that as players, you've got to be able to handle those kind of situations.
Fair enough.
You know, we always have a go at Rasmus for wanting to just score the easiest goal possible. Like, on a pitch, you don't always get the best ball, like, and you've got to make it work. And I would like to have seen Dorgu make that work, like whether that is pretending to get shoved over, like doing a foul, booting it, or just you've got to be able to solve problems on the pitch. And the ball that you get is not always going to be a good ball or the best ball. But yeah, I was really disappointed with that goal. Dora, do you have anything to add on the first goal, the opener?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about it, and you know, was it really? Should have it feels like, you know, sometimes when we are trying to play from the back, it feels like that we are sometimes going through a wrong side, if that makes sense. For example, we went for the left side this time. Why did we go there? Because as Mr. B says, like, in my opinion, as someone who you know, watched it back, it was a pretty hard pass to get to, and immediately when he got the ball, he was immediately pressured. Right, they were ready, like they read that play immediately. should have they gone to the other side, maybe through Mazarui and who was on the right side? Sorry, remind me, Yoro or whoever. Like, to me, it felt like, or Maguire. I cannot even remember. Like, maybe they should have gone on the right side, but it was what it is, right? They've gone left, they fumbled it, and when they get that ball when they get to the ball, they are immediately going to our box. Semenyo is there. Casemiro overcommits, in my opinion. He gets out of the game immediately, and of course, Semenyo is all along. He shoots. Onana cannot defend the first post. My issue with Onana, like, I'm not blaming him for this goal, by the way. I'm with MrB. You kind of expect, like, sometimes he will save it, sometimes, most of the times he won't. But it feels like whenever I'm watching him, his goalkeeping, and it feels like he always jumps after that ball is already in the net. So I encourage you guys to, I swear to God, he is moving like he is on 200 ping, and he's lagging non-stop. Gamers will know. And I'm like, why are you even bothering to jump? Like, he's like in slow-mo sometimes, but I'm not going to blame him. I think even midfielders in Casemiro, they should have done a better job at covering Semenyo and going to the block, because Semenyo did one turn. Casemiro was out of the game. He should have stayed on his feet. He doesn't do it more often, in my opinion, when he's defending, and of course it was an easy goal for him.
Yeah, I watched Villa versus someone in the FA Cup, Crystal Palace. And Emi Martinez had a bit of a stinker, to be honest. He should have saved, like, certainly one or two of the goals. And it was all about that he took a step just before the shot came in. And it made me think, like, you've got to be really, really top, like, at the Premier League level, or you get punished. And Onana he quite clearly has so many technical deficiencies as a goalkeeper. But let's have a little look at the comments, and then I want to go back and pick you up on something you said. Luke Shaw has low football IQ. All his United managers have told him they want him to have more width. He took it literally and widened his waistline. Nice one, Steph. I like a bit of fat shaming. Shaw has scored 4 goals and 17 assists in 10 years. Where is the evidence of this striking the ball? Just like Andrew, he is one of the better technicians that we have in the team. You make a good point, which is that he doesn't get the ball in a lot to the box. But if you think back to sort of Shaw, Martial, Rashford, that they were like our most successful attacking partnership, like sort of on a side, I think. And like Luke Shaw is an excellent player, but he's just injured too often. Like I'd love a fit Luke Shaw, but it's just never going to happen, is it?
I don't think he should play.
Sorry?
I don't think he should be playing. I don't think he should be starting games. If we need him to finish games, I think he's a liability if he starts. He's missed too much football to be starting games, both time, important games. You know, you get him in, you give him a little bit of time. I understand we probably need him to be playing, but surely there's another. What's his name? Fredrickson played well the other day. He could have thrown Fredrickson again. He didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel that Luke Shaw, if he comes in, there's a level that everybody's going to expect him to be at. He's been out of football for so long that it's probably going to take him to try and stay fit until the beginning of next season, as in going through the pre-season games to see what we've got. I think playing him now is a liability. I really, really do. He made an error in the first game he played that cost us a goal. He gave away a penalty, didn't he? Or a foul at the edge of the box for one of the games. The first game he come back. I think he was at fault that game. He did play 90 minutes, which is a surprise. I give him that.
A bit reckless, isn't it?
Say again. What, played him for 90?
Reckless to play him for the 90.
Well, we don't know how long he's been in training for. Maybe he's ready to go. Maybe Ruben knows that he's not going to be playing on Thursday and didn't want to risk anybody else. I don't know. earn your bloody. He has to earn his money. We say reckless, but we're just glad that he was able to play 90 minutes. Let's be honest. You know, maybe psychologically for him as well, knowing that he's able to play 90 minutes will benefit him mentally. Because I mean, when was the last time he played 90 minutes for United?
Well, his last start, I think, was February last year.
Oh my God!
But guaranteed he didn't finish the game.
Probably not. Like, you know, he came on twice, I think, under Ten Hag, and lasted. He got taken off at halftime, before halftime in one game, and he got taken off at halftime in the other. But he basically hasn't started or completed a football match for at least a year. And I knew it was going to happen. I knew when he came back, he'd be like, he's like that bad boy that the girls always run to. I knew I was going to get seduced by him because he's like, he moves well, and he's got a good cross on him.
I have the biggest Luke Shaw agenda. No,
sir, I've got it. Jesus Christ. Luke Shaw played over 100 minutes on his first start for United in 434 days.
I'm not seduced by an absent boyfriend, by the way.
I didn't say you were, Dora. I was talking about my own weaknesses.
No. I'm not going to be seduced by a player that isn't playing. Come on.
All right. Well, Richard is saying Dorgu's been poor. Came in mid-season. Won't judge him until he's had a full season.
I'm with Richard.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of doing it, because I've got to be honest, I've seen huge improvements in Ugarte in the last 3 or 4 games. It's still nowhere near the level that I want, but you can see that like he's trying to do more and things. Dorgu is a rubbish ball striker, but you know, maybe we've been a bit too harsh on him. I'm still not convinced that he's anywhere near the level. Right, Steph, we'll come back to this because I want to talk about like Amrin's squad selection. Andrew as well is talking about that, and this is all coming into it. Bruno had a bad game. Part of the reason we struggled. Yeah, he wasn't good, was he, Mr. B, Bruno?
No, he wasn't. But is that what we've got? We understand Bruno is our best player, but players need to step up. If he's not producing, Jesus Christ, man, there's another, well, I'll say 9 players on the pitch, 10 if you have to include Onana, but other players need to step. He can't do it every single game. They can't just keep relying on Bruno to either play in an assist or have a shot from an angle or play in a pass. You know what I mean? They need to step up themselves. You know, I understand he's got a vital role in the team, but he doesn't always play as the 10. Which means then that the person who replaces him as the 10 when he plays as the 6, try and keep him out of the team. Have some pride. All right, we know it's not going to happen, but give the manager a little bit of a headache. You know what I mean? You take responsibility for yourself. You know, there's too much. Oh, we're relying on Bruno. Even when you look at the game on Saturday, I understand that he's the one who can play the key pass. But Jesus Christ, somebody else try something else. You know what I mean? Everything was going to Bruno. I mean, you know, if you man mark Bruno out of any game that we play, we're dead.
They're so submissive, those players, aren't they? They just look to Bruno to do everything.
You remember when we had Donny van de Beek and, you know, people were shitting on Bruno, like seriously, and they were shitting on Bruno and saying, oh my God, he needs to start, you know, blah, blah. And then he actually started, I think, 2 games in a cup or whatever, Donny van de Beek. And even against scrubs like, I'm not sure who we played, but
scrubs it was a European team, wasn't it?
And it was a Europa League, I think. I'm not sure which one. Like, he was a ghost. He didn't produce anything. And I know that Bruno is a, special type of player. Like, I always say he's a catalyst. He's always, great with his final pass, and, he's very creative. But in this new role, like, he's in a new role now. He is a number 6. I think Amorim is planning to put him as a number 6. And he is going to be more of a creator, like a traditional one, not a catalyst, but a creator who is going to put, others in good positions. And then they need to, be those catalysts, like, for example, Xerxes in future, or maybe even the likes of Mason Mount or whatever. But whenever he comes out of the game, like, this team is dead, and it has been for years. And I'm not sure, is it because that's kind of a system that the coaches put in place, where everything is, circling around Bruno, everything is going on around Bruno, and then you put him out of the team, and then all of a sudden we are too passive. There is no one who is going to step up. Is it a coaching thing? Is it a tactical thing? Is it a players thing? I'm still not sure. And
Right.
I think it needs to be addressed.
Dora, we're going to finish these comments because there's quite a lot of things piling up that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Palace were tactically perfect. I was very, very surprised how shit Villa were and how stupid their game plan was. And also Rashford, he's injured. Like, we could have done with him, like, turning that semi-final around, to be honest. Bilbao didn't have a game this weekend. That is true. Their best player is also injured, from what I've read.
Thank God.
Good evening, Bart. Mark Agate, here you are. I hope that you're doing well. Right, Andrew's asked this a couple of times. I wanted to do this later in the show, but what do you think to Garnacho, Mr. B? Was he our biggest danger?
He's always our biggest danger. He's just a shit player.
Okay.
So that's
simple as.
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought he was decent. Like, one thing I like about Garnacho. One thing I like about Garnacho is when he does make stupid decisions and he does lose the ball and things, it's normally always in the final third. I think he's quite careful with the ball, like in the middle and the first third of the pitch, and he does all his stupidity in the final third. And I think it's quite commendable. His chance, I also thought, I wanted to ask you about this. I thought his chance was quite difficult to lob it over the goalkeeper. I'd never be able to do that one. It was.
That's why you're not a professional player, BT.
It was a difficult chance, but we've seen strikers, we've seen players in that position score those.
Yeah.
He could have hit it the other side of him, the other side of the goalkeeper. I mean, he had to hit it where it was. He couldn't have let it drop. Obviously, it was never good. So he had to get, I mean, unlucky. I would more say unlucky than anything else. But I just feel, man, if the amount of opportunities that he has in front of goal in a game, if we just have somebody with better finishing or a higher IQ, man, we win a lot more games than we lose, or we score a lot more goals maybe in games. And that's all. I look at the formation. I do. There's flaws to it. There is 100%. But I just look at the chances that are being created. If we have better players in those positions, the goals get put away.
Yeah. Now, look, this is something actually I wanted to ask about. We'll start with this and go on to different things. Is that United have been making a lot of chances recently, since January or February. I know XG is a bit of a kind of. I think that XG is perfectly fine to use for individual players, but not for teams, because technically, like, there's an XG from a goal kick, and it all gets added up, and it doesn't really show the quality. But I think against Wolves, Mount and Bruno, if they had left feet, had pretty regulation chances. They couldn't even get it on target. And exactly the same thing happened again against Bournemouth. Both Mount and Bruno had chances they should have scored. Garnacho, the one that we just spoke about, I've got no problem with it. If you get that on target and it's a good save, I think that's okay. Like, Garnacho went close with a couple of shots. Do you think that we are like a sort of a bagsman away from, say, leaping up into 8th place, and it's just like how crap we are in and around the box? Or do you think that the amount of chances and the quality of chances being created aren't good enough for a Premier League team?
There's always levels to. We're not putting away anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that the goalies make it. We're not putting away anything. So and the chances that we're getting, you know, we're on our edge of the seat expecting it to go in. It's not like, oh, he's not going to score that. So I think they are probably chances that you feel that we should be taking. Rasmus has missed a couple. I said there was 2 on over the weekend, Bruno and Mount, the same angle cutback that they missed. I think we're getting good chances. I think the chance, right, there's some stinkers, you know, Agate and Bruno shooting from 45 yards, you know, but we've had chances in the box. You know, if you're having chances in the box, you expect to score some, but we're not scoring. So the more, and then it looks bad on the defense and the midfield. I mean, we've got one dead striker who finally scored this week. And to be honest, everybody's saying, oh, it's going to give him confidence. Why is it going to give him confidence? He's still shit. So I don't understand now. Is he suddenly going to become... It's not like he hit, you know, a ripper from the edge of the box or he went past 3 players and he hit a curler. That's when you say that's going to give you confidence. The ball bounced off his foot. All right, he nudged it in and maybe he did think the ball was going to go. I don't know what was going through his head. But it was a shit... A goal's a goal, I get it. But it was a shit goal. You know what I mean? All right, we want a fox in the box. But we know that's not his profile. If he was a Gary Lineker and he's done that 20 times for us for the season, you know that's Rasmus's MO. That's what he's capable of doing. But I don't think it gives him any confidence at all. I think he's got to play and, you know, he'll go on the pitch feeling happy. But the goal was shit.
But do you think, right, that... because I think that, like, I'm not a finisher at all. I've never been a goal scorer. But some players like pressure. You know, they're like, you know, everyone looking at them thinking you know, this is the guy that's going to, like, raise us up. And with Hojlund, I get the impression that, like, it's okay for him not to score for 3 or 4 games because he's got a goal. And it's just such a terrible mentality to have. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he put on Instagram or something. Like,
you see it?
Did you see that? Yeah.
What a dickhead!
It wasn't a win, but I needed it. Oh, shut up! Like, I don't need to have a freaking report after every single game. Where were you when you haven't scored for months?
He doesn't say nothing. He only don't forget. He only puts on Instagram when he scores. I think he's probably he's probably posted 4 times this season. One with the full, the one with the hole, the one with the goal. He got cussed for his first one when he said something else. Oh, he's been waiting a long time to do his celebration or something. Must have been 6 months that he had been waiting. You know, so he's basically been cussed every time he's put a host up.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't need, like, that says all. Like, you know, you know, write a report after the game on Instagram after you haven't scored in 27 games or whatever. I probably sound like such a hater. Like, I'm sick and tired of these people. Like, oh, like I said, I do.
Who are you hating on now?
I'm not going to, like, I cannot stand Rasmus currently because he's been pissing me off with the way he acts on the pitch and off the pitch in terms of, like, he's just pathetic, honestly. Like, I don't care if anyone gets offended. He seems like a pathetic little boy, or a little child. So I don't, you know, offend some people. Like,
I'll back you on this, Dora.
Honestly, I
agree.
Like, okay, he scored a tap in. Cool. people are going to say he scored 16 goals in the first season. Cool, but replicate it. I wouldn't have a problem with him if he scored 16 goals this season. I wouldn't have a problem with him, but he didn't. He scored 3 in all competitions or whatever. Like,
yeah,
what are we talking about?
Do you know what it reminds me of? Is Dan James, where Dan James equalised against, it might have been West Brom or someone. First goal for United. His father had recently passed away, and
it was against Chelsea.
It was against Chelsea.
It was the first game of the season. He scored a goal. It was insane, like insane atmosphere. Yeah, it was against Chelsea.
He wanted to celebrate it, but it's Manchester United, and you're drawing. You're not. That's not what we celebrate. And then he continued to run, and like he played with. I'm not saying he's the best player in the world, but he played with courage, Dan James. And when I look at Rasmus, there's no courage there, and you can't be putting posts out saying I needed that after an away draw with Bournemouth when we're in 14th. I feel that has signed his death warrant at Manchester United doing that. I just can't believe that he did that.
And
I'm
honestly,
disgusted by it.
Yeah, and honestly, like as I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. B in terms of his shit. Right, he's a bad player. What has he learned this season? From the first game of this season, we are seeing him moving wrong. Like, I don't have to be a football. Like, you guys are playing football all the time, right? I unfortunately don't. Maybe I should, but I don't. But I watched a lot of football during my lifetime. Honestly, all the leagues. Like I watch multiple leagues as well. And to me, it feels like whenever I see even the most disgustingly bad striker in the world, at least I know he's moving well in the box. He's opening for others. He's putting himself in a good positions, but unfortunately he cannot strike the ball. This guy cannot even move in the box as a striker.
I think that's unfair. I think Mr. B's criticism of him as -9 is quite apt, because Amrin has looked at him and he understands his crap, and it's basically just get people out of the way and we'll cut it back to the edge of the box or the penalty box.
You're right.
You're absolutely right. Actually, you are absolutely right. Yeah.
And I think that, like, because of that, you have to give Rasmus some credit in the fact that he is following a game plan. And I personally think you've got to give Amrin a little bit of credit, where he's realised you can't rely on Rasmus. So what we're going to do is we're going to use him like an icebreaker, and just to clear a bit of space for someone else. And and that's actually what I wanted to talk about. I was very surprised by the team selection. I was very surprised by the substitutes, and I wanted to know what people thought about the team that Amrin picked, with like Thursday being the game of, feels like it could be a game that could define the next 5 years, to be honest, to Manchester United. We need that Champions League money. Mr. B, what did you think to how Amrin sort of like managed the squad and the game?
I think it depends on who plays. If I'm going to assume that there's probably not going to be much changes from what he put out, in which case then maybe he did mess up. I would like to think there would be a couple of surprises in there, but maybe Ogate starts.
Definitely.
He gave him the full rest. Mainu, does he start? Is Garnacho going to start? Is he going to use Garnacho
as Garnacho? Surely.
These are the questions. I really don't know. I think the issue is more the finishers.
Yeah.
And who he has to close the game out. Is he going to start with Amas, who we know is technically better than Dorgu? Dorgu played on the right. One of the game after Delo was injured. I'm not saying he was Wolves.
No,
I'm not
Wolves.
saying he was. He played a couple of crosses inside. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got that option. I don't feel he'll start him. He's probably going to start Mazraoui, to be fair, but I think Mazraoui is a better centre-back than the player in that position. You know, I cuss Daisy. Maybe we are going to miss him in this game. Maybe him not playing. I'll see
against that Williams boy, we'll miss him.
See, right, and then should it be Dorgu who is physically stronger than him, or do we get a defender like Mazraoui who we know will
go for Mazraoui.
Will shut him down? But then we don't have Ducre. We're going to
go for a draw, I feel. And when you saw what Alangi did to Dorgu, I think that will be like
Elanga.
Yeah, but he does that. Jesus Christ, he's one of the fastest players in the Prem.
So is Williams.
He's very fast, Mr.
The Spanish Inaki Williams.
And he has a technique. Even though he isn't this season, he's been, even though they're fourth, like this hasn't been his most prolific season, but he's still dangerous.
He's still drinking in the Euros, isn't
right?
He?
So what? So you're thinking about playing Mazraoui to shut him out?
Yeah. Well, I think personally, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised to see Casemiro and Eriksen start in this game.
What are you talking about, Bob?
Because I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play for the draw.
So why is he going to play Eriksen? What the fuck has Eriksen done all season? Oh, piss off, bath time. Don't bother, man. Don't. And who's gonna? Oh.
Poor Mr. B.
I think, like Mr. B, would you take a 0-0 or a 1-1?
I would take a 0-0. I would take a 1-1. I'll take the draw. But you've called for Eriksen in a game.
No, I haven't. I've said I think he might.
He's got no chance. Eriksen is playing this game. We're not going to get the ball enough. We're going to have to be chasing a lot of the time.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I think he goes Ugarte, Casemiro in the centre of the park. He goes Bruno, and it's probably going to be Bruno and Garnacho, although I would probably play Bruno and Mainu.
I played Bruno, Mainu, and
keep hold of the ball and have Garnacho as, you know, somebody who like the impact sub.
Yeah.
So come on. I'm not starting Garnacho. I am not starting Garnacho in this game.
I mean, Garnacho, I think, is like Bruno is our most dangerous player consistently, but Garnacho carries the threat. If you see the sort of
I understand that. I think Garnacho, as an opposition player, Garnacho is the one who you watch because you know he's gonna be breaking lines with his runs. I get that. I
think you have to play 5 yards deeper with like Garnacho like in the team. Like the opposition are gonna if Rasmus is there,
they just fucking leave him in it.
Actually, this actually brings me to something else that I wanted to talk about, which is Kobe didn't have a great game. Let's be honest, against like Bournemouth. But he did do something in the first half, which was easily the highest quality moment of the match, when he like megged someone, beat another, and then I thought he was going to like pop it in the corner. But
that's his side.
Yeah, that's like that. But what I thought was really interesting is that normally when we think about number 10s, we think about them back to goal in the pocket now. You know, like they're in between the lines, they receive it, and then they turn. What I really liked about what Kobe was doing was he was kind of just off the shoulder of his man, like more in a 3 than in a 2. And then so when he got the ball, he was running into the space, and the defender obviously hadn't dropped to pick him up. And honestly, if we had a striker who was halfway decent, we would have caused a lot of problems there, because then you can play a 1-2, you can slip him through, all these sorts of things. Or
a player that they trust in that position to give the ball back.
Well, did you, I don't know if you saw, or did you see the bit where I think it was Shaw, it could have been Maguire, someone shouted, "Leave it," to Onana, and he punched it out.
Yeah, I did see that. But we don't know who was shouting "Leave it." And to be fair, leave it. You can't shout leave it.
Yeah.
You can't even shout leave it at our level. And we, so but we don't know who was shouting leave it. It could have been one of their players shouting it.
Well, it was an English guy. Like, I heard, I don't know what the microphones are doing at Bournemouth, but you can hear like a lot of stuff that you normally can't hear.
So they've only got 11,000 people in the stadium, so
yeah,
they don't have too much to pick up, do they?
Well, I found it quite funny hearing Ugarte on the pitch just shouting in Spanish all the time. I did really enjoy that. He wants the ball a lot, which is good for him. But I think, like, in terms of the team selection and stuff, I felt that, like, playing Shaw for 90 minutes is not what... we don't have all the information, but that doesn't sound like a good idea to me. And then you look at, like, how Maguire was taken off, which is definitely for Thursday.
Yeah.
You look at Casemiro getting taken off, definitely for Thursday. You've got to think like those two.
Ugarte rested.
Let's hope Shaw's not playing. Let's hope he's going to be the sub. But then does that mean Amas gets the run out? Who else can play left? Who can play left centre back? Maybe he'll.
Lindelof is really the only other one that can play like that.
Oh God! Do you know?
Wait, hasn't Dora played as a left centre back?
Yeah, but then who plays right? Who would play right? Because if
I think he's going to go with Mazraoui Dorgu, honestly.
As the wing backs.
Yeah, Mazraoui right centre back and Dorgu. Like Dorgu, he's an athlete. He's physical, but having Mazraoui behind him is a better, safer option in my opinion if you want to keep the results or 0-0 or whatever. What is the situation with Ahmad? He's probably going to be available for Thursday.
Second leg. I think he'll be back for the second. I think he'll be back for the second leg.
Yeah. I think him and Delict, it's a bit touch and go for the second leg. Like no chance of the first leg. But I would hope that I don't mind Delict being rushed back, but Ahmad's a little bit injury prone and things, and I know it's such a temptation to bring him back because 2 Player of the Month awards, like he's been one of our only decent players this season. I do worry if we rush him back and he gets an injury, like where does he's had too many injuries, the boy, but it's also it's the biggest game of the season and things. So it'd be interesting to see what he does. But Dora, all round thoughts on like how that game played out in terms of Amorim managing for Thursday. Do you think he did a good job with the subs and things?
Yeah, I just wish that, and I know he did, and I know maybe I'm banking on him to be good for us and everything. I just felt like Amorim. I'm not sure if it's because of the injury or he doesn't like the way he's playing. Like I thought that he's going to start Mount or either or rather put him earlier in the game, but he isn't going through that. Amorim.
That's his seventh. Sure. That's his seventh sub in a row, Mount, I think.
Is it? I'm not sure. Was it around 80th minute or something once again? Was it pretty late in the game?
No, Ericsson was quite late, but Mount was, I think, 70, 65, 70.
I mean, it's more when is Mount? When are they going to trust Mount to start?
Well,
as I say, 7 substitute appearances in a row. Like, that's not a first-team player, is it? That's
a squad player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have him on the bench when if things get, but like what I remember of Mount in the last few games, it's like up and up. But yeah, I think he managed okay. I think Ugarte getting rested was he rested, right?
Yeah,
he was for like him. I expect someone like the midfield of Casemiro and Ugarte starting definitely. I think
Not
against
Bruno.
Spanish. I think Bruno is going to be at 10 with Garnacho and Rasmus. I don't think he's going to cook that much, Amorim. I think he will make changes that he needs because of the injuries. So we know that Dalot is injured. He's going to put either Dorgu or Mazraoui there, and he will go with a different back three or whatever. But I think for the most part, I think the midfield and the attack is going to be the same. I don't think he's going to risk it that much.
Do you know what, Dora? our defence has probably been the best performing component of the last couple of months.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd want to change that. I think he'd love to have Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
I agree on
now,
that one.
And the thing is as Mr. B mentioned earlier, like two of the only decent balls Dorgo has put in have been from the right hand side.
Yeah, and it was against Wolves when we played there. Yeah.
Maybe he does put Amas left wing back, and if he starts to struggle physically, he could then sub in Shaw. And
yeah.
See, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I do now as well.
The fact that Shaw played the whole 90, there's no way. We know there's no way he's starting. Amas has played well, and we know one thing we know about Amorim. He likes technically good players.
Yeah.
And he likes kids.
And he right, they're sponges. They soak up the information. So I would love to see Amas given a chance. I really would. I think that would show that he is adapting, because obviously he said about Casemiro was out the window. Even he said Casemiro's changed his mind. It would be nice to think that, all right, Amas is short. They say he's tall, but we think he's short. That he's changed his mind and he's now because if Amas starts this game, this is a big heads up, because this is our biggest game of the season.
He's had a week to prepare him though.
Exactly.
I would like to think that if Amas starts, he was told before Bournemouth, I'm hoping not to use you in this game because I need you for next Thursday, and I need you to have an extra 2 days of training to work on these different things, because Amas, Eriksen, and Garnacho worked extremely well with each other against was it Wolves? Amas was holding the width, Garnacho was running the channel, Eriksen was kind of linking up. It was I think it was very, very obvious that as Andrew says, there's no doubt about his quality. You just the only thing you have to sort of question yourself on is his lack of experience. He didn't cover himself in glory when he slid in at the back post, and these are just the things you expect with a young player. They don't have enough football to kind of reference what they should be doing. But I really think that Amorim now will be desperate to have Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui as his back three, because it works.
Yeah, and they played a lot of games together right now. So I think it makes sense for Amas to start that game on Thursday if you want your back three to be the same. So, I mean, it's only the only dilemma I'm having is who is going to start on the right wing back. I mean, we will probably see Dorgo, but we still don't know. And what is he going to do with that midfield? Is he going to go with Bruno, Ugarte, or with Kobe and Garnacho, or he's going to go with Eriksen? We have options there.
I think Garnacho has to. I think
Garnacho needs to start.
You would start Garnacho over. See, my issue is Garnacho plays better for United on the right of the two tens.
Yeah, I would put him. I think he will.
Bruno,
I thought he did pretty well on the left. I think
he's been more. What I would say, I think he's been more consistent. He more consistent
and more productive on the right. I hear you, Mr. B.
That's the word. More productive on the right.
But what he hasn't been doing is taking a hell of a lot of stupid shots on the right. That's really.
But he's assisting.
About. But he's assisting on the right.
He's assisting on the left. He should be assisting on the left. You think of all the crosses that came in that Mount and Bruno and people have missed.
Yeah, but then maybe I look at it. You see, if when you're crossing from the right, the player who's coming onto the ball a lot of the time is right-footed.
You should be serving them.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of left-footed ball strikers. So we see if Cunha comes into the team, he can strike the ball with his left foot. So maybe those shots coming in that side of the pitch that Bruno and Mount both missed, you'll have a more clinical, more adaptable finisher in that position. So I just feel if he plays, Bruno plays everywhere, but at least when Garnacho plays on the right, you know he's playing on the right.
Yeah.
I would rather have somebody who we know is going to be playing on the left. Mount can do it.
I don't think he's done enough to warrant a start myself.
No, I think he's going to get subbed in if it gets for the energy. I think if we play a solid game, or even if we chase the game, whatever. Like I think Mount is going to come in, as you guys said, 65th, 70th minute to bring in energy and some kind of control. Because I wholeheartedly wish for him to succeed, and hopefully next season we finally see Mason Mount that we paid for 50 million. But currently he obviously works better off the bench. Like I don't think Amorim trusts him. Like Garnacho is more productive than him currently as a starter, which is, some people are going to say, oh, Garnacho is shit. I mean, he is a bit, but it is what it is.
I like Garnacho.
I like him most of the time, but you know my opinion on him. Like he needs so much work.
Well, how about this, Dora?
Yeah.
Kobe Mainu obviously scored against Leon.
Yeah.
Do you think that he deserves to start in the 10 next to Garnacho and then Bruno with Casemiro or Ugarte?
Do you think that's too young?
I don't think even that's too young.
Kobe's played in the European final.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's too young, Mr. B.
So is Garnacho.
No, as in
an Argentine, South American.
As in, you've got -9, 20, whatever he is.
Well, do you know what? You say we assume -9 is starting.
Oh, wouldn't it be beautiful?
Amorim's got a history of dropping players after they finally scored a goal. He didn't. He wouldn't do that to him. He could never do that to him. It would be funny, and I would applaud it. But I don't see him. That would be hilarious. Imagine if he started Eriksen as a false 9.
I mean, he could play Bruno
or Maguire. Put Lindelof in the back three.
Maguire is an ace from the deck game if it goes bad. But I mean, I won't even say it's too young. Like, who cares? They are all experienced players that have played so many games for United already. I think that my issue with Casemiro Bruno midfield in this important game is that they are too volatile, right? One time, defense.
Catapult football, isn't it?
Exactly. Bruno, when he is bored or has ADHD kicks in, he needs to jump out of the line and, pressure the opposing player because he doesn't want to stay in lane. And Casemiro, he just likes to tackle, press square on the freaking joystick or whatever. So these two together are making my, when they are on their
But has Kobe earned his start? Is what I mean, because of what he did. And all right, he didn't have a great game against Bournemouth. He did have a moment or two. I think
he should start.
In terms of,
he should start. I'm saying it right now.
Would you start Garnacho as well?
Oh.
So
this is a dilemma. Yeah, this is a dilemma, right?
Because I kind of think that Maguire and Kobe and Bruno have kind of earned their places because those are the boys that got us, and Casemiro.
So you need to sacrifice one player, and that would be Garnacho.
What?
Because Casemiro got 3 assists in the last couple of.
Yeah, so play him. So play him with
Bruno.
No, Ugarte has to play.
That's
the whole point of us.
I'm just saying, Mr. B, that if you managed that game and those players got you through in the cup, I think there's a good argument to be made that Casemiro has to start because he was sensational in the last couple of minutes. He really showed. I don't know if it's just a flash in the pan or
showed enough. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Kobe scored a world-class goal to get us through. Bruno hit the penalty. Garnacho has been doing he's been creating a lot of opportunities on both the left and the right in the last 3 games. Like Ugarte mishit shot, Hojlund taps it in. He's been playing better, but I think Ugarte is the one that might miss out on this.
I do this. I do this.
But this is just getting rid of Rasmus and solving that problem.
But one, we'll have more control of the football.
Yeah.
A lot more control of the football. I think Bruno, certain players we're talking about have earned their start. Ugarte has to start. Casemiro, you're saying, needs to start.
3 assists.
Yeah, so he needs to start.
He's a winner.
Yeah, he wants to win. You know, he's probably not going to be his last season, but you know, he's not going to want to go to lose to a semi in Spain.
Yeah, he smells trophy. He smells a trophy. He bites. Yeah,
he's probably, you know, but you think it's a coincidence that he's come in and he ain't lost his place. He's smelling something. So, you know, he plays, and then you've got the option of playing Kobe, who we don't feel should be dropped, and Garnacho can still play, but they've got Bruno ahead of them. Maybe not so much dictating where they run, but guiding them a little bit more. I would rather Bruno play further up the pitch. You know, I think he now trusts Casemiro. Whether or not he trusts Ugarte 100%, I'm not too sure about. But you're saying players have earned their stripes. I think that works. I think that works, to be fair.
But could you argue that Hojlund, because he's finally scored, has earned...
No.
Yeah, I'm not trying to argue it either.
Yeah.
All season.
You know, I guarantee you.
Was the 100th minute. The first shot on target in the game was the one that he scored. 100 minutes of football.
I guarantee you that Garnacho or Bruno would move better and provide more for the team if they play in a
What's he going to do then, Dora? Who are the 4 in the box he's going to pick?
Okay, I'm going to cook right now, and it's going to probably be burned or whatever, but I will say this. So Casemiro and Ugarte midfield needs to start. On one hand, you have Casemiro, a winner, a great player, in my opinion, a great technical player, the one that can push the ball up the pitch. On the other side, you have energetic Ugarte, who is great at intercepting the ball, breaking up the play, and he can cover. For the most part, he can cover a lot of space, and sometimes he has a pass in him, which is a good thing. And then you have Kobe Mainoo. Now, my problem with Kobe, when he is playing at number 10, from what I saw, is that he isn't enough on the ball. He needs to be on the ball more. Sometimes it feels like he's a bit invisible, but hopefully with this team, with Casemiro and Ugarte behind him at number 10, with Garnacho, he's going to have more ball at his feet. And let me cook Bruno as a false 9. Maybe it's too much to ask of him. Maybe because but we don't have a unit in front. Blah 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 blah. I mean, Onana is taking long goal kicks. Whenever it gets to the number 9, it falls into the opposing team. I'm not even dissing Rasmus just for the sake of it. That's true. That's
it's fun.
The whole truth.
It's easy. Yeah.
It's like watch the games. Like every single long ball from a goal kick ends up in the opposing team legs. Like he never wins a header. Why not go with Bruno there? Bruno can run into space. He's very smart with his movement, and he even can stop and move those balls for the runners in Kobe, in Garnacho, or even wingbacks in Amas and Dorgo. So let's cook. Like I would start with Bruno in the front. If it doesn't work, put in Rasmus. He will bring the energy. He will bring something, whatever.
Not Amrin.
Sorry?
This is you, not Amrin. I asked, what does Amrin do? And I've just been reminded.
Oh, he will do that 100%. He will do that. Yeah, I will.
Well, the thing is, I completely forgot about this. Ugarte scored against Lyon as well, didn't he? So
he did. Great run into box, by the way.
You could argue that he's kind of earned his place as well. And you're all right, because there's 4 or 5 players there who've earned their place, and the one that stands out that hasn't is Rasmos Hojlund. And
There you go.
I just wonder if Wilcox might have a word with Amorim the same way that they did with Ten Hag about changing the system where they put Bruno at false 9 and had McTominay running off him. If could Amorim start Bruno as a false? He hasn't. He's done it with Kobe, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He
for
never
10
did
minutes,
it with Bruno, I think.
for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, Kobe was really good. It's just
Yeah.
that after that, he wasn't.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
Is the
blame
Mira done
Rasmus.
deal? Has this happened?
If you notice, everybody's got here we go really soon. Yeah, that's great. That ain't no good to me. You know, no.
Had a good game, didn't they?
He's played well every time we've seen him all season. Every game I've seen him play, I just think him in Garnacho's position. Oh my God, what would Cunha do in that position? Oh my God. So yeah, I really, really hope he comes. I think that's not the game changer, but that would be a huge purchase for us, especially if we get it done nice and early.
Mm.
Well, it depends on Rashi, I think, and the fact that I'm not even convinced he's injured. To be honest,
What?
I'm not convinced Rashford is injured because he. I think my personal conspiracy theory, shout out Yabba, is that Ollie Watkins was promised the FA Cup semi-final all of the game, and Rashford was on the bench and he didn't come on at all. And I think Emery, the day before or whatever, spoke to Rashford and said, "Look, if we get a commitment from you that you'll be here next season, we can involve you in this game."
Your very senses is going on here. Where I tell you, VT, where there hasn't even been a sniff of any sort of rumor, and you've made up this whole story. Start including conversations in your head. Oh, you're the best,
this
bro.
will end up online.
Right. It's all in my head, but I can't believe that in that game with Rashford on the bench, they didn't bring him on.
He's got a hamstring injury. Half time.
Why is he on the bench?
Because he's not good enough.
He had 25% chance of playing because
Yes,
he was going to the boxing.
Just kidding. Okay.
Ooh.
He's fine.
We've had Andrew's got bored and has started. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but Andrew has a long-running saga with the Ukrainian cleaner that lives opposite him.
She tried to poison him.
No, do you not remember? Andrew tried to sort her computer out for 3 hours and
thought
he was going to get a little treat, and it turned out it was just Ukrainian pasties. Yummy. Let me check the Belfast flights in case Rashi is on his way. All right, we've done more than we planned for this evening. I don't know what's happening for the rest of the week. I'll be back tomorrow. You're not around, are you, Mr. B? It's your better half.
Yes, and I have to do this one. Well, I've been neglecting her birthday, so I've been such a shitbag. I'm a great husband, but on the birthdays I tend to, I love you all year. I don't have, so this year, I'm gonna make the effort because she will chop my nuts off. So yeah, I'm away tomorrow, and I'll be back on Wednesday.
Well, best wishes from all at United Agenda, and we hope you come back with your nuts intact. It'll probably be me and Yabba, and I might ask a few people if they want to pop on. Obviously, Dora, you're more than welcome. Preview on Wednesday, then I suspect.
A reaction.
Is there a watch along?
You know what? There's no way I'm not doing a watch along. As I said, the Euros are the ones that I thought that we were going to do. So yeah, I will be. I'm going to take some. What keeps you calm? I'm going to need something before that game, boy. I can't afford. I don't even know anybody who sells meth. To be fair, sorry, am I allowed to say? Oh shit, am I allowed to say that? I have no. That just flew out of my mouth.
Dora can sort you out.
Oh yeah, I will go to Bosnia soon. I need some medicine. Medicine. Yeah, they have good merchandise there.
That was such a classic, Dora, when you told Jay Motti about how you were going over the border to
Oh
buy
my
dodgy Serbian.
god! The guy thinks I'm a drug dealer, probably.
I
but
know,
yeah.
on a mule, I know.
You laugh. My mom, like my aunt, went to Bosnia and bought some antibiotics there, and she brought it to my mom. And painkillers. Come on, like who has time to go to the doctors all the time? You just need to go and take the medicine. Oh my god. Oh, I love this country. Oh my god.
Doctors Without Borders has a new meaning.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Andrew, no way he plays for Swansea. Maybe he does. Who knows? Like I don't think
he's to be player manager.
Oh, maybe he does. Like who knows? Maybe like there were rumors that he's going to extend with Real Madrid, but apparently like there were rumors that he's going to come back to Dinamo. Like he will never come to Dinamo Zagreb. Like, come on, why would he put a curse on himself and play in Croatian league? No way. If he goes, like maybe he plays for a bit,
isn't he? Isn't it all but confirmed that Ancelotti is out?
Yeah, Brazil wants him. Brazil national team.
I reckon that like someone who comes in will be looking at people like Modric and like having that thing where they want to clear them out and put their own stamp like on the team. Who knows? Imagine Modric playing for fucking Swansea.
I mean, I would be surprised if he even plays. Like, I'm not sure about that's the second league or championship, right? Swansea is in championship, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I've no idea where they are. You don't.
I mean, it's a very physical league still.
I mean, 7, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would still be class, but I think when it comes to cardio and physical thing, like, oh my god, like he's going to be 41. Like, go for the love of God, go retire. But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays in the World Cup, by the way, because he's playing qualifiers.
Well, shout out to Mr. POTUS. He was very, very excited to go and see Lionel Messi playing.
Oh, we went nuts! Yeah, they did him 2-0, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, bravo!
I hope you enjoyed it. I always forget that like our cousins across the pond like never really get to see top players. But you got World Cup coming up next year.
Oh yeah.
You can see, Europe's best goal-scoring midfielder, hopefully, who we could really, really do with at the moment. I've been so good not mentioning it, but...
Oh my God, you're such a fangirl for McTominay. Oh my God.
Jeez. Have you seen what's done? Napoli have scored 6 goals in the last 3 games.
Great. So what?
I just... When I see Mount, Bruno... like missing like easy shots on the edge of the box, I think God, it would be good to have him.
Look, BT. At the end of the day, it's good for. I'm glad. Like I was never his biggest fan, but I'm glad that he went to the place where he is respected, where he plays starting 11 football non-stop, and he is outside of this terrible situation at United. So kudos to McTominay. Good for him, but. Yeah,
I just miss him, Dora, and I just can't bloody believe that he's going to be the face of like. There's going to be murals in Napoli with Maradona and McTominay. It's unreal.
I mean that's amazing. That's great.
All
that's
right,
absolutely amazing.
Mr. B, any thoughts on this?
I have no thoughts. I have absolutely no thoughts on him. No.
How times change. All right. If you want to see Mr. B watch along, notifications and all that sort of stuff. So likes, notifications, write something in the comments if you, that would help us out, I think. And I will be back hopefully with Yabba tomorrow night. So we might be talking about giant squid, as Yabba was very, very unimpressed with the giant squid.
It's not very big.
Yabba is a true comedian on this show.
Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow.
I sent him footage of a giant squid. It's the first time it's ever been seen. And Yabba wasn't impressed with the size of it. He reckoned he could fight it and win. And he's not the best swimmer. Shout out Yabba. You know you're doing bad. All right. With on that bombshell, it is a lack of notch from me.
Like a nut from me.
Lack of notch.